So I'm Marcus Kennedy. I head up a team at a really small startup, like my friend here, called Intel. And the team that I lead is the gaming division. It's all about how we make computers, right? Like what you have here, the best for video games, right? I love video games, so it's a passion of mine. If you scan over to my backpack over there, it's a big Game Boy because I just love gaming. And so this job is like my favorite job that I've ever had. And so my wish I would have learned it sooner, if I got that right, yeah. Is this? It's that impatience is a virtue. So I got a couple slides. I'm just going to walk through them real quick, and then I think we open it up for Q&A, just conversation, right?
Yeah, just take your time on that, Marcus. I mean, we've got a relatively small group here today, which is okay. But the whole idea, what we do after, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I don't think I did a good job on the front end. Marcus is going to talk for about 10 minutes about his Willis example, or examples maybe. And then we're going to open up for discussion from you guys. So what does that mean to you in making it happen for you? Okay, that's the whole idea of the session. So it's an interactive session. You get the pro up front here, and then you get to have this conversation. So Marcus, say for
no, it's okay. I use the word pro. I don't know I'm a pro, but I certainly have some experience, and hopefully you can learn from some of it. Do y'all know what this is from? Either of you? Yeah. What's it from? I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is that's right. If you pay close attention, right? Yeah, that's the one from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But everything that we've heard in the past, right, kind of growing up, teaches you that patience is a virtue, right? Good things come to those who wait, all that kind of stuff. And relative to at least career and actually making it happen, one of the things that I want to teach you that at least I wish I would have learned sooner is that patience can also be a virtue, right? And the way I talk about it is good things wait for those who move, right? If you look at that picture, the top left, the one of the impatience there, right? The girl saying, I want it now. We always hear about that being a bad thing, right? Like, I want it now, it's petulance, it's, people who just are just not happy with things, right? The guy on the bottom right, though, if you told him, if you've seen that meme before, right? If you told him that, hey, you just need to wait, it's fine. The good things will come to you. I mean, what's going to happen, right? Not a whole lot of good, right, is going to come from that. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about impatience being a virtue and what you need, though, in order to turn it from what people think about it into a virtue, right? So I think that it's really a virtue, but only if you have clarity of three things, right? First is desire, meaning, do you know what you want, right? And do you know why you want it? It seem like really simple questions. They're really hard to answer, especially as it relates to your career. I'll talk about my examples here in a few. If you have clarity of direction, is the second D, right? Do you know where you want to go, and do you know how you're going to get there, right? And then last is determination. Do you know if you have what it takes to do what you want, to make it happen, right? Do you care enough to fight through obstacles? My friend here in a few will talk about entrepreneurship and being a startup, and I hope he talks at least a little bit about all the obstacles that you find. And whether you're an entrepreneur or not, in a career or not, I'd say that determination is not just about determining whether you have what it takes or determining whether you can actually push through when obstacles happen, because they will. So I'm going to use a quick example, and then I'm going to talk about my own personal example, just to kind of bring the point home. So first, desire. I got two examples here, same thing. If you're hungry, right, that's your trigger. You're hungry. In the other examples, it was a burning room, right? That's how they knew that something was going on. In this example, you're hungry. Do you know what you want? Well, yeah, food. But what do you want? Right? Are you sure you know exactly what you want? What kind of food do you want? Do you want, in this case, a hamburger, or I think that's pasta or pizza? You know why you want it? Yeah, I'm hungry. Okay, got it. Well, what direction are you going to take? Well, part of that depends on what you've decided that you want. If you want pizza, if you want chicken, if you want whatever, right? All of that's going to determine where you want to go, right? And then how you're going to get there Well, there's a lot of options there too, right? Maybe the McDonald's that's close has really horrible fries, and you know that, and so you got to go across campus to get to the other one because it's got great fries, right? Or maybe there's a KFC, but it's not really close, so you're gonna have to take the bus. Or maybe you do have a bike or a car even, right? And you want to go take that. Or maybe the closest subway is really far away, and you got to take the train. Well, each of these decisions, right, kind of stacks onto each other for you to figure it all out, right? And then last, do you know you have what it takes? Well, in order to fill this need at one of these places, right? First thing you need is money. But what happens if you get in your car and you have one and your car breaks down? What are you going to do? Are you going to just go home? Or are you going to actually figure out how you're going to go get some food? Because you're still hungry. Car's broken down, but you're still hungry, right? What happens if you get there and you went to KFC, you drove all the way across town, and this is a true story, right? They run out of chicken. That's what that little sign says. What kind of KFC runs out of chicken? Well, they do, right? But what happens? What happens if you get there, you do everything you need to do to get to where you want to go to, you have all this clarity, but they don't have any chicken. What next? You're just going to go home, be mad? Or are you going to go find something else to go do? It's a simple example, but it shows, I think, all the decisions you have to have, the clarity that you have to have in order to really go make decisions. Now, how that translates into career and jobs, right? In this case, at the very beginning, when you got hungry, right? Patience, if you just sat around, what's going to satisfy that hunger? It's interactive, right? I see a bunch of stares. Anything? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. If all you do is sit around and wait, right? You've got that desire, you got that hunger, you know what it is. Nothing's going to happen. So you got to go do something, right? You have to have a reason to go move, right? And so translating this into career, myself, as I mentioned, I head up a gaming division at Intel, but I didn't start there, right? I started in lots of other jobs, and this is, like I said, my favorite job that I've ever had. And only recently did I learn that I should actually kind of push my career in a direction in order to know where I want to go. For too long, I just kind of let it sit and let things happen. People were telling me, yeah, it's fine. You should just wait. You'll get what you want. Like, okay, that seems to be the way people manage their careers. They just do things and good things happen, right? Because people see that they're doing good and it's great. Yeah, well, that didn't happen to me. So when I worked at Kraft Foods before I worked at Intel. I kind of knew that I wanted to be a manager, right? Because, you be a manager, you want to go faster, it kind of gives you career boost and all that other kind of stuff. And they told me, yeah, just sit around and wait. Like, okay. So I waited, kept doing my job, did a good job, kept waiting. Nothing was happening. I was hungry. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a manager, right? That's the food that I wanted. But I just followed directions and sat around and waited. Nothing happened. For a year, for a second year, for a third year. I was getting good reviews, right? People were telling me I was doing a good job, pat me on the head, give me raises and stuff. It was great. I got more money. It's awesome. But I didn't get what I wanted, right? And it wasn't until somebody said, well, why don't you just go ask? You know what you want, right? Why don't you just go ask them for it? I was like, that seems like a novel idea, right? And so I did. I knew what I wanted. I knew why I wanted it. I wanted for faster progression, want my career to be great, right? I knew I wanted to be a manager. So I went and asked, said, hey, I want to be a manager. How do I do that? And they said, well, where do you want to be a manager? What do you want to be a manager of? And I was like, I have no idea, right? And so it forced me to go back through and ask a bunch of these questions to myself until I figured it out. Once I had those answers, I went back and said, I want to be a manager of this area for this shift for this reason, right? And they said, great, there's somebody in front of you. They're already doing it. They're not going to go anywhere for the next couple of years. Can you wait that long? And I was like, well, no, because I'm impatient by nature, and now I get the taste. I know it's there. They're ready to give it to me. I just don't want to wait, right? I said, well, how about, right, this is the obstacle. I said, well, how about if you move that person over there, because I think they're really good at this thing over here instead, right? And they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I can change my opinion. I just want to be a manager. It doesn't really matter where. I can be good. I just want to test myself, right? And so I told them where I wanted to be, but I shifted that a little bit, gave them another option. They said, okay, great. Yeah, that actually just opened up. Give me another 2 or 3 weeks. Let's make it happen. 2 or 3 weeks later, I was a manager. I was the youngest ever production manager at Kraft in that facility because I was impatient and I pushed it a little bit. right? I had clarity of desire, I had clarity of direction, and I fought through obstacles. And I've got lots of other examples throughout my career, but that, at the very earliest point of my career, as I was kind of figuring it out, I probably could have done it much faster. Could have been there years before that, because they were saying to me, hey, we had you on a list. We were just wondering what took you so long. We didn't think you wanted it. So, what I wish I would have learned sooner is that impatience is a virtue, as long as you know these things about yourself. And I got to tell you, it's easy to say, it's much harder to have. It's much harder to have that clarity. It's easy when it's hunger, right? It's much harder to have it relative to your career. So I'd ask you, ask yourself these questions, especially as you're thinking about your career, if it's your major, anything, right? Do you have that clarity? Do you know what you want? And then push for it. Don't wait. Time is the most valuable resource we have. And that's what I wish I would have learned sooner.
All right, everybody. I'm Christian, and I'm a lot like you guys. I'm a student here, and I just wanted to share with you guys a quick story today. So, it was the winter of 2017, and I had not even finished my first semester here at ASU yet. But what I did do was I started my first company. And that company I started because I thought I could do something better. And of course, I didn't have the experience behind me to try that, but I attempted it anyway. I spent the next few months in my garage spending all of my money and time building a magnetically levitated motorcycle. And in the process, I almost broke every bone in my hand when it got caught in between the magnets that held it afloat. In November of that year, I finished it, and it was a very painful, time-consuming process. But regardless, it was very, very beneficial. I learned a lot, and I would not have it any other way. After that, I stumbled upon something else. Do any of you know what these are on the screen? They're wind turbines. This one in particular, the largest one, is proposed by the University of Virginia, and it would produce enough power for 50,000 homes. It's the largest one ever proposed, but there is one problem with this. Nobody knows how to build it. It's of a scale that just would require so much welding, segmenting the parts, and frankly, how do you even assemble something like that out in the water? So what do these stories have in common? They both involved a manufacturing problem that really pains everybody, and we really don't know how to fix. So a few months ago, I started my second company, Robotics, and the idea behind it was to really change the way we manufacture large parts. And by large, I mean things the size of a refrigerator or even a rocket ship.
Sorry, the mic is rubbing a lot because of where it is.
Yeah.
It's around. Just try to put it a little lower. Sorry, give me a second. There we go.
So, yeah, Robotics, the main principle behind it is to change how 3D printing is done. And to do that, we expanded the process from a machine that sits on a table to a swarm of robots. And to do that, we have been developing an autonomous robotic platform that would conduct the 3D printing process of metal from something that is mobile. And when that happens, you're able to do it anywhere and faster than ever before, because you eliminate welding, you eliminate machining, and all of that. If you were to build something of the scale of, say, that wind turbine, the only thing that would limit you in how fast and how cheap it's done is the number of machines you have working on it. And so the main point I want you guys to take away is my wish I learned it sooner moment of if you are ever in a position to make something that will help people or improve people's lives, don't wait. The world does not wait for you to do that. Do it as long as you can. And that's really what I wish I learned sooner, because before I started my first company or the second, I was facing a lot of feedback saying, don't do it, you need more experience, and then you can attempt it once you've made those connections and you've made those contacts in the industry. But what I found happening while I was working on these companies was connections and experience, they come naturally and they come by doing. There's really no better time to change the world. You just need to take the first step. So, I mean, that's really what I wish I learned sooner. And with Rosotics, I hope we can help a lot more people learn that, just because of the fact that I am an undergraduate, and if this works, then hopefully a lot of people will begin to understand that. And from there, I guess I'll open it to Q&A.